And 3, 2, 1. Welcome to The Peaceful Truth, the podcast where we talk about everything from women empowerment, feminism, and everything in between. You are joined by your host, Kenzie Meekbeck. Thank you guys for joining me again today. Life is pretty crazy, so I don't have on a guest this week. Again, I am moving. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that there's literally boxes right next to me. So sorry about the disorganization of my room, but I wanted to talk still today and do a quick episode on something I found pretty interesting and a current event topic sort of a thing. So this week, as we all know, it was the Super Bowl, which, by the way, was probably the most boring game I have ever seen. Like, most of the time, it was just punting and literally, tied the whole time at just 3 points. But beyond that, there was a lot of controversy this year, especially with Colin Kaepernick and just everything that was surrounding or leading up to the Super Bowl had a little bit of drama, which I'm about to go into. But anyway, the halftime performers were Adam Levine, Travis Scott, Big Boy, I believe. Those were the main performers, and they did do something really good. They decided not to accept any payment for it and donated money to, I believe, a children's organization. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So some good did come out of it, but I do think it's still relevant to bring up. So there's been some actual controversy. One, his outfit actually looked like kind of a drape or even a carpet, which was kind of funny if you looked at Adam Levine's outfit. But throughout the whole performance, he progressively stripped throughout the show. The performance was kind of boring compared to years past. I mean, there's been Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Beyonce, and I feel like comparatively, this performance was a little bit, I don't know, lackluster. And he ultimately strips down and he's shirtless. But that kind of blew up on Twitter because if you remember back in 2004, Justin Timberlake performed with Janet Jackson, and Justin grabbed her top and there was a wardrobe malfunction and it showed her breast, but it did have a nipple cover over it, but it ended up haunting her whole career. The FCC got really mad. Beyond that, it tainted a lot of the things she went on to do. I feel like I remember it happening and I remember it still being talked about up to this day. But I guess the big debate was, why can Adam Levine take off his clothes and literally strip down to nothing when Janet Jackson's whole career was destroyed over a malfunction and something that wasn't even, they said wasn't even supposed to happen, ended up happening. So why was it such a big deal back then, and now just because he was a dude, he can show his nipples, which is a really relevant point for a woman to accidentally show hers and it destroy her entire career, to a man intentionally showing his and him looking like a rock star. So here's the tweets that kind of came out. This is one by Ziwe, I think, Ziwe, and she says, "Now I have to explain to my children that Adam Levine has nipples." Another one was, "Why can Adam Levine show his 2 nipples, but Janet Jackson can show 1? Please get this shit off my TV. #Super Bowl." And another one, it was again, "Oh, but we can see Adam Levine's nipples." And that was from Beefy Love Handles and Ira. So anyway, just the fact that it's fine for a guy to do it and it ruined an entire woman's career. I feel like maybe nowadays, I would hope that maybe with the Me Too movement and the new movement that's happening, we would stand up more for than we really should have back in 2004. We would hopefully now stand up for a woman if this happened and her whole career was jeopardized for it. But I feel like this also just shows the misogynistic and racist points of the league, the NFL. So the boringness of the show comes also from the fact that several celebrities like Cardi B and Rihanna turned down performances due to reports, according to a Vox article. But they denied it due to the controversy with Colin Kaepernick. And this article is from the Super Bowl halftime show Controversies Explained. So a lot of people even turned down in this Vox article, according to this article, just to perform with Maroon 5. And so I guess they were really trying hard to get a bunch of people up there, and a lot of people turned it down due to the controversy. And so this year, it just kind of shows how old school truly, like the whole year, I feel like kind of showed how truly old school, like the NFL's mindset was. I mean, I know I don't pay a lot of attention to sports, but I've like heard a lot and I've seen a lot and I've read a lot of articles on it that just shows how old school it is. And the one thing I feel like did come out of the game is that 2 male cheerleaders, I believe for the Rams, performed for the first time, which shows a little bit more equality. But overall, I feel like they really need to change their ways. And especially after this, like the fact that Janet Jackson's whole career was destroyed and Adam Levine can just strip, there's definitely a big difference there. And I also wanted to bring up I was just thinking about it last night, and I kind of did some research on things like the Free the Nipple campaign. But why do you feel like women's boobs, do we feel like women's boobs are only sexualized because they're like sort of a forbidden thing? Like if they were always out there, and if breastfeeding was normalized, and if boobs were normalized in general, would it be something that no one would bat an eyelash at? And would it be just something that wasn't so crazy? Like if we hid our elbow every day, would a dude find our elbow super sexy if we showed it off a little bit? You know what I mean? So I wonder if it's the fact that it's forbidden in society makes boobs sexualized in themselves. But anyway, either way, it's unfair that a male can show a body part so openly in one way and a woman just straight up can't. Just because of one, I guess, the breastfeeding nature, the fact that it's covered up, the fact that it's sexualized. I mean, I wouldn't recommend going out topless all the time, obviously, but I feel like it shouldn't be against the law, one. And the only reason I wouldn't recommend it is because society has it so ingrained that it is this thing. In fact, it ruined a woman's career. Like, it's so ingrained in society that it is sexualized. You know what I mean? So maybe if we weren't ashamed, it wouldn't be a big deal. But unfortunately, again, I don't think you can necessarily change it overnight in today's society. Maybe that's why things like Free the Nipple are important, so that they can change people's mindset and body parts and women in general, just by hiding something all the time and just to being this forbidden body part. Maybe by just normalizing it a little bit, it wouldn't be as sexualized and so forbidden. I just kind of want to bring that up. I thought that was an interesting topic this week, and especially relevant just after the Super Bowl happened. But I wanted to end this week on one of our good things, because we always wrap on a good thing. My personal good thing is still the fact that I'm moving and I'm excited about my apartment. But the other good thing I wanted to share is an NPR article. And the article is a first. Women take the majority in the Nevada legislature and Colorado House. So according to NPR, article by Leila Fatal, I believe, on Monday, Nevada's State House begins its legislative session by marking a major milestone. It's the first time in our nation's history that any state legislature holds a majority of female lawmakers. And I guess also in the Colorado House. So that was pretty cool. And I wanted to end it on a good note. But thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. Later this month, we'll have a lot of guests. Next week, I'm moving. So please have patience with me again while I'm figuring all of this out. Thank you guys so much and have a great week. Bye.